Hey everyone, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger bringing you the one and only keto without the crazy. This is going to be a quick one today. That's what she said. Well, I think it's going to be quick. You never know. Once I get talking, this could end up being a 30-minute video, but I plan to make it a shorter one. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I'm very, very passionate about thyroid, specifically hypothyroidism or low thyroid. If you're new to the channel, I will link in the notes or the description to this video to some of my thyroid videos in case you need the DL, the down low, the 411, all the information on thyroid. So check those videos out if you need to. Where are my thyroid medicine folks? We need to talk about adjusting thyroid medicine and why you might need to. Let me give the caveat right here that I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice. It is just information to maybe open the eyes of some of you who are on thyroid medicine and are not aware of some of what I'm going to say. And I have no notes except for literally about 2 sentences, which is pretty much only the topic of this video, so I didn't forget to do this video. So speaking off the cuff, hopefully this won't be a total mess. The most important thing to know is that thyroid medicine is not set it and forget it. Who's old enough like me to remember the Ron Popeil rotisserie chicken? This is not the Ron Popeil rotisserie where you just set it and forget it. You cannot do that with thyroid medicine. You can set it and then you have to mind yourself. Set it and pay attention to how you feel. If you are taking thyroid medicine, but you are still wildly symptomatic, meaning your medicine isn't working, you still have all the same symptoms you had before the medicine, then you need a higher dose, or much more likely, you need a different type of medicine. If you're taking levothyroxine or Synthroid is the most common brand name in the US. There are many others, but Synthroid is the most common. Levothyroxine, you might need a natural desiccated thyroid like Armour or NP thyroid or Nature Thyroid, or you might need some T3. T3 is, the compound is liothyronine. The most common brand name in the US is Cytomel. Some people do great on levothyroxine and they do great on a little baby dose and all as well. A lot of people do not do well on levothyroxine or Synthroid. I see this in clients all the time. These people need a medication that provides them a little bit of T3. If you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, but you're on thyroid medicine and you feel like yesterday's garbage or last month's garbage, then definitely please take the time to watch one of the videos in the notes that I will link to. I'm pointing down because if you're watching the video, then the notes are like, you have to scroll down to see them, right? So, yeah, if you didn't know that levothyroxine or Synthroid gives you only T4, but the actual active form of thyroid hormone that does all the things we like it to do, like help us lose weight and have a good libido and have healthy hair and, have a warm body and all these other, have regular bowel movements, that is T3. And some people's bodies convert the T4 medicine very, very well into T3. Some people's don't. And if you are a poor converter of T4, then you will probably benefit from taking some T3 medicine. And so again, if you're on thyroid medicine, but you still feel like, definitely not your best, you either need a higher dose of the medicine you're taking or you need a different type of medicine or both. You might need, some people, even if they take T3, some people can take a little tiny baby dose and they feel amazing. Some people need a lot. And for reasons that I won't get into in this video, which I do get into in the longer videos that I'm linking to, many, many doctors are very reluctant to prescribe high doses of T3. Some won't prescribe T3 at all, but even the ones who do, some of them get very worried about prescribing the higher doses. not to worry. If you need help finding a thyroid professional who will prescribe high doses if you need them, contact me privately, or contact me privately. Contact information in the notes. So how do you know if you need to adjust your thyroid medicine? That's one of the signs. If you're taking it and you still feel terrible, clearly it's not working. You need a different dose or a different type. If you feel like you might be over medicated, maybe you actually need a lower dose. If you started with hypothyroidism or low thyroid, but you've developed signs and symptoms of hyperthyroid, overactive, or thyroid hormone that's too high. So this would be the opposite of the low thyroid symptoms. So you might be overly warm. You might be losing more weight than you intended, or losing like unexpected amounts of weight with no change to your diet or exercise or other routines. Another big sign is rapid heart rate or like palpitations. You could have a very slight tremor, like because your body is so amped up. If your thyroid hormones are too high, your metabolism is revving too fast. So like you'd be a little bit jittery. Insomnia, because you're bursting with energy, you can't sleep. You might feel irritable. You might be kind of ragey. So it is entirely possible to vary at various times between being a little bit under medicated, being over medicated, and hopefully being just right somewhere in between. It's like Goldilocks, right? But this changes. Some people find that they need higher or lower doses of thyroid medicine seasonally, like they need more or less in winter versus summer. And it's an entirely individual thing. I can't tell, you out there in, I don't know, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, like you need more in the winter and less in summer, and this person over there needs vice versa. It really just depends on your body. But the symptoms of low thyroid and hyperthyroid, in my opinion, are pretty hard to miss, especially if you're taking thyroid medicine so you have a thyroid issue. You can especially be on the lookout to pay attention to how you feel. Is something going on that is cluing me into the possibility that I might need to adjust my medicine? Under medical supervision, of course. Work with your doctor, PA, nurse practitioner, whoever. But I really think it's important to tell you that, because some people don't know. They've been on the exact same the exact same dose of thyroid medicine for like 30 years. And if I've just described someone out there watching, but you feel great, you feel totally fine, you don't have any symptoms of being too high or too low, you are in that Goldilocks zone, then none of this matters for you. But it could at some point. But I know that I'm talking to a lot of the people out there who don't feel their best. And before I close this out, I do want to, a couple of things. Test, don't guess. If you think you are a little too low or a little too high, test. Depending on your insurance, maybe you can just ask your doctor to run the panel. And you need more than just the TSH test, If that's news to you also, watch the videos that I'm linking to below. You really cannot tell solely from the TSH. You need to get the T3 measured, really the free T3, and ideally also the T4. You want to see where the actual thyroid hormone level is, and TSH is a pituitary gland hormone. It doesn't come from your thyroid. So I recommend, test, don't guess. And the reason I recommend testing is because if you do think you need a change in medication, you want to see what's going on. Am I actually over medicated? Am I revving too high? Or am I actually too low? Do I need to increase the dose? Or are my symptoms coming from something else? Are all of my thyroid numbers actually pretty good? And if they are, then you and your trusted medical professional can look for some other cause for some of the symptoms you're experiencing. I will share with you something that happened to me a number of years ago. And this is, I mean, testing is always important, but this will hammer home how important testing is. I was on a relatively high dose of thyroid medicine, and I was taking T4 and T3. I've been on a combination for a long time. And I was feeling pretty good for a while, and then I was not feeling so good. Most of my low thyroid symptoms came back. I was feeling awful, and I couldn't imagine, like, how can I be feeling all these symptoms when I'm on, again, a relatively high dose of T3? Like, this is, I shouldn't, this is crazy. Like, there's no way that I could need more. I mean, it's possible, right? Some people need a truckload of T3 to feel their best. It's possible that I could have needed a higher dose, but like, this is crazy. Let me see where I'm at. Did the labs. I was actually, well, I wouldn't say I was over medicated. My T3 was high. It was high out of the range. In all the years that I've been doing thyroid labs on myself, I had never seen that before. The first time I ever saw it overtly high above the range. And what happened was, and this is why, again, test, don't guess, if I had only gone off of my symptoms, I would have assumed I'm low, my hypothyroidism is getting worse, I need more medicine, I need a higher dose. It was actually the opposite. My T3 was high, I was over-medicated, and my speculation is that because there was so much T3 circulating in my blood, in an effort to protect themselves, my cells stopped putting out so much thyroid hormone receptor, right? The thyroid hormone does nothing in your blood. It has to get inside your cells to have all the wonderful effects that it has. And so when my cells were down regulating those receptors, like not putting the receptors out so much, then a lot less of that T3 is getting into the cell and it's backing up in the bloodstream. My cells aren't taking it in, so it's just accumulating in the blood. That's kind of exactly what the labs showed. There was lots of T3 in my blood because that's what the lab test measures, right? Unfortunately, we don't really have a way to measure how much T3 is getting into the cell. We can only measure the blood level. My blood level was high, but I had symptoms of being low. And it's precisely because my cells were like, nope, this is way too much thyroid medicine or thyroid hormone. We don't need that much. We're taking a break. We're not going to take it in. So my blood level was high, but there was so little getting into my cells. And with so little getting into my cells, that's why I had the symptoms. So I actually, with medical supervision, reduced my dose dramatically. I cut back. I was like, whoa, my cells need time to get resensitized to this. I need to like reset the system almost. So we actually reduced my dose for a little bit to kind of, again, reawaken the receptors, if you will, to resensitize my cells. And sure enough, literally within about 2 or 3 days of reducing the dose, I felt so much better. Now, I can't guarantee for any of you out there watching how quickly you will notice a difference if you and under medical supervision, if you adjust your thyroid medicine. I can't say how quickly you will feel it. I've been pretty lucky that most of the time when I adjust my dose, I notice it within a few days. Not always, but all right, let's see, where am I at? 14 minutes. See, it's longer than I thought. That's also what she said. You get me talking about thyroid, it's really hard to shut me up. Again, if you're new to my channel or you're not new to my channel, but you've just not heard me talk much about thyroid, and if this is like, what? She's kind of blowing my mind. I think this is important. I think this applies to me, but I'm not really sure. I don't really know what she's talking. The testing, my doctor only ever does TSH. I'm on Synthroid, but I feel like crap. You need And I don't say that often. You need to watch the videos I'm linking to in the notes if you want to learn all the details. But for those of you that do know a little bit more about this, just keep in mind that if you're on thyroid medicine, always pay attention to how you are feeling, because it is entirely possible that you just need to modulate the dose every now and then. You know, if you are feeling unwell, and if if your symptoms, the things you're experiencing, are likely thyroid related, then you know what to do. All right, let me see if there's anything else. I'm looking at my 2 sentences of notes. I just think a lot of people don't realize that. They think they just take the same pill or the same 2 or 3 pills every day and they're good for life. Some of you might be. Some of you might not be. And again, something critical to keep in mind, but this is emphasized in those other thyroid videos, is that ideally you get the full panel of tests, not just the TSH. But even if your T3 is normal, even if it falls within the reference range, that doesn't mean that that level is optimal for you. I cannot emphasize this enough when it comes to thyroid, especially T3. Normal does not mean optimal. I see clients all the time who are at the bottom of the range. So they're within the range, but they're at the very, very bottom of it. And some people need to be at the middle of the range or in the higher part of the range to feel their best. So even if all your labs come back normal, if you have clear signs and symptoms, and especially if your T3 is on the lower side of the range, consider whether you need a dose adjustment. Okay. Thank you for putting up with me. My thyroid people, I love you. I'm with you. We're in this together, because heaven knows you can't do this alone with the way thyroid is assessed and treated out there now. And if you're not a big thyroid person and you watch this anyway, thank you. But I will be back with more specific keto and low carb related stuff next time. In the meantime, do promise me that you'll keep the crazy out of your keto, and you will get the help you need with your thyroid. Keep the crazy out of your thyroid. Keep the well-meaning but ignorant in the dark ages doctors out of your thyroid. If you need help finding a good thyroid doctor, then just get in touch with me. You can find my contact information in the notes. Take care, everybody. See you next time.